Okay, this is Daniel of Vegematic 10. It's a coaching session. This time I'll be doing another Baron Replays review of Mostly Harmless's Morgana mid. Apparently I was told that this was going to be a Morgana mid, so I'm going to rearrange everybody so that it seems to fit everything right. Now, Morgana mid is played a little bit differently, built a little bit differently than Morgana support. Traditionally, Morgana was an original mid laner in the older seasons and transitioned into the support role as more mages came into the mix. So Flask start versus Doran's ring start. Now the thing with Doran's ring start is that Doran's ring start gives you the extra ability power you need to pressure the lane, because in terms of skill order you are not focused on maxing the binding first. You're focused more on maxing the tormented soil first. Now, the thing with mid laners is that once you kill 7 creeps in the mid lane, you will guarantee yourself to hit level 2. So what better way to push and pressure at the start as Morgana mid than by simply starting Tormented Soil? This will make it so that you are able to hit level 2 faster because the minions are dying much quicker. Max Tormented Soil, along with early AP, building the typical Zonier's Hourglass as one of your core items, and this is being recorded during the patch before live patch 5.11, I believe, and this patch still has the Luden's Echo as one of the strongest items on mages. Almost all mages build it in every typical situation. It's pretty good on Morgana in terms of bursts. It's not a necessary item, but it's still pretty good. In terms of this team comp, I would say that one of the best options that you've got to itemize is Athene's Unholy Grail. You're definitely going to need the magic resist because all 5 of them pack a strong whopping magic set of magic damage. Now one thing that she can improve on here is starting off by tormenting soil this backline right here. These 3 mage minions will not be in range. I mean, what I mean to say is it's easy for you to kill them if you just start off by soiling them. But if you don't soil them there, you can also soil this entire pool of minions here. This will guarantee that you push the lane. See, now she hits level 2, and since she's level 2, she should be abusing the exactly. She should be abusing the fact that she has the binding and she can pressure the Cho'Gath. Now, knowing that Cho'Gath started Rupture, this means that Cho'Gath does not have a silence, which means that you can freely attack and throw spells. Yeah, like that. Good. Now, Now that Cho'Gath has hit level 2, you're gonna have to be a little wary. This is where the player uses Flask here, but I would still advise against it simply because you have the Morgana passive to provide you enough HP that you need to sustain yourself in combat. Now it's very evident that this Cho'Gath is casting Ruptures constantly, but what he's not keeping in mind is the mana pool. Morgana is choosing to play back when she could actually be playing much more aggressively, because Cho'Gath has a Doran's Ring start, but the fact that he's spamming the Q means that he's going to be running out of mana soon, and it's evident here that he's less than like 25% of his current mana pool right now. So knowing that he's less or about like under 30% mana, you can abuse the fact that, oh, he's out of mana, so he can't Rupture and silence me. He can only pick one or the other. I like what she's doing here to try her best to last hit. But if you're gonna do that, you're gonna need to not soil, because it kind of screws over your ability to last hit. Okay. Now the reason why I'd advise with Doran's Ring start is that every time you last hit, like, let me just click on Cho'Gath because he started. Every time you kill a minion, you get 4 mana. So by killing a wave really fast, you can get back some of the mana that you lost while spending it on Tormented Soil. So this will give you a large amount of sustain in lane. The point of the Morgana lane is not for kill pressure. It's more of just farming heavily and then being kind of a support utility along with the initiation with the ulti, Soul Shackles towards the late game. A good Soul Shackles can turn around a team fight because it forces people to change their positioning. It's good that she uses Black Shield to defend herself against spells, but it's much easier if you just actually just think, okay, he's gonna rupture. Because if you notice that the person's rupturing constantly, you're gonna have to, you're kind of expecting a rupture. So you just have to start moving in different patterns.
You too will be judged.
Like right now, he just ruptured, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna rupture again. So this is the part where she needs to constantly be on her toes, and if Cho'Gath sees an opportunity to rupture, he's gonna rupture. So there it is. And yeah, well, you can spell shield, sure, but it's not necessary if you expect it coming. It's just a reflex kind of thing. Of course, in different elos, like maybe they don't even have to rupture, and you're just moving jaggedly and you're leading yourself to your doom. But that is a different story because it's all psychological. Now, one thing I did notice is that she's using her ability, her Dark Binding to last hit. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you can. It just means that you weren't able to auto it, and or it will survive the auto. So you have to throw a spell in order for it to guarantee kill. Because gold is very important. Morgana's ability to wave clear as you get more ability power, as you build more ability power, I should say, it makes it so that you're able to. You're just a mass farming machine. You just farm waves easily with just one W, destroy the back line, and then activate another W when it comes off cooldown. And the front line of melee minions is gone. It's very, very easy as long as you have enough AP to do it. So right here she's overstayed. She's basically overstaying. Both mid laners are level 6, and the typical mid lane scenario is who can kill the other person. Well, right now with Black Shield, it's pretty hard for Cho'Gath to kill, but without any AP on Morgana, it's kind of hard for Morgana to kill. And Cho'Gath gets just as strong because of the fact that he has the ability to eat minions and consistently grow larger. So both mid laners don't have to fight each other. If you take into consideration what their kit possesses, you don't even have to fight the Cho'Gath, but you can do your best to deny him farm. Of course, it's not always going to work, but you can do your best to take off what a little farm he has. And right now, Cho'Gath is doing very well in terms of denying farm. So that's a pretty good form of harass right there, the QW. It's a very typical combo. But the thing is that she's out of mana, so she should really conserve what little mana she has. In the case that she gets... Okay, so here comes a gank from Zac. So the best thing that she can... Okay, so she flashed auto. That wasn't necessary. She knows she's out of mana. This is what I mean by... I was just about to get to it. So what these things are called are critical... Oh, jeez. She could be in trouble. Cho'Gath has kill potential at any point. He's running exhaust, though, so that's probably a problem. Anyway, during the laning phase, the best thing you should do... The best thing you can do is conserve your mana. You can spend all the mana you want, but keep it above 50%. When a gank occurs, we're gonna call that a critical situation in which it's time for me to all in. It's the decision in which you decide it's time for all my mana to be expended because now's the go time. If you don't use the other 50%, like what's the point of saving it if you don't have a reason to save it? I'm just saying, save it, and they're gonna respond, okay, why? I don't know, just save it. No. The answer is because when a gank occurs from Zac, for example, she flashed, but she couldn't binding because she had no mana to do so because she expended it on a QW harass combo. When once again, this lane is knowing that it's Morgana, it's just being Morgana, you don't have to kill, you don't have to harass at all, you just have to farm. Because if you can accumulate a lot of gold, you're going to be a threat late game. There's a huge psychological factor just of a Morgana's presence in the game, because in the upper elos or in different elos, you're gonna expect the binding to come out, and oh god knows how evil the Morgana binding hitbox is, right? Now, you don't have to throw the binding to be a threat. Just being Morgana, they're going to see that Morgana is a threat. It's like, oh shit, when is the binding coming out? I don't know. So I'm just gonna start juking it. Maybe it's coming now. Maybe it's coming now, but it's not coming now. What the heck? And well, there's a kit combo that you can utilize with Morgana's ultimate and chain CC with her Dark Binding to guarantee that you will not miss the binding. Now Morgana seems to go for a gank here, and this is a fine option to go to gank. She shoves the lane so that Cho'Gath has to respond by defending. Now see, here's the misplay. First of all, you know that Hecarim's kit... Okay, hold on, let me see. Okay, so okay. First, you know that Hecarim's ability to deal damage is increased. It's proportional to how fast he moves. So if he's not moving, his base moves. If he's standing still, his base move speed is still the same. But if you apply a slow, like Soul Shackles, reduces his movement speed for 20%. It's he's 20. I think he's 20% weaker. I'm not really sure. I gotta check the scaling, but he becomes weaker. So what you want to do is when she came up for the gank, let's backtrack. Wow, that happened a while ago. All right, so. She's coming up for the gank. First, she shoves the lane. So that Cho'Gath has to respond. Crap. Do I leave the lane and lose all the CS and get pressured under my tower? Pause. Or do I take all the CS so I can, pressure her back or respond to her pressure? Now, let's get back to what we're talking about with Morgana. So, Morgana has every spell available. Her Dark Binding only binds for 2 seconds. Her Tormented Soul deals the most damage. It's not the most effective time to gank, because your Dark Binding is not going to do that much damage. You're relying on someone with absolutely no hard lockdown CC that can be guaranteed to be landed to gank for. So this gank isn't really the best idea. It's not the right time to gank. Anyway, so the only way this gank would work. So we're gonna think about it in hindsight. The only way this gank would work is if Morgana first completely locked down Hecarim from moving. Now knowing that Hecarim probably has ult, because assuming why would Hecarim ult 1v1 on Jinx in the middle of the lane out of nowhere? Maybe he has kill potential, maybe he doesn't. But you never know unless you actually check. Because you always have to assume that he has ult because, well, what would the purpose of using it randomly on a Jinx be? He can't 100-0 Jinx at any point with just these 3 items. So he probably has ult, which means that he's gonna either ult away or ult to counter engage. And since he's getting ganked, the most effective idea is to counter gank or run to escape the gank. So now we're gonna play it. Okay, so first she misses her W. This means that you've already lost one form of soft CC. So the gank is even more. It's even less effective. Even more less effective. It's not as effective as it should be. Now she's gonna walk. It's clear that she walked through here, so Hecarim knows. But in different elos, they may not have the right awareness to see it. So we're gonna see right here. This is a big error. Just doing this is actually the error. I'm gonna print screen it. Just set up my paint. All right, here we go. Now. We're gonna let's do we're gonna theory craft a little bit. First, Morgana binding. It's gonna go straight. Like, yeah, this makes sense. But the fact that if he knew that it was coming, you have to expect. Oh, he's gonna try to juke it, right? Because theoretically, everyone's gonna try to juke. It's like the same thing if you had a Lee Sin or a Olaf or something. Someone with something that can like gap close or something critical like this. It applies for mostly just those two that I can think of off the top of my head. But just by them being there, this person's probably thinking, oh man, I need to move now. Crap, she's gonna throw the binding. I'm just gonna go walk back and forth. Maybe I'll dodge it. So what Morgana should have done, instead of blindly throwing out the binding, because it's hard to throw the binding out when you don't have any extra CC, because the best way to guarantee that you won't miss this is to soft CC them, in which case 1, Jinx lands her zap, so that's a super slow, which increases the chances that this binding will land. That's great. But if she doesn't have, in scene 1, if she doesn't have zap, right? So what can be scene 2? Are you just gonna toss out the Q? No. What you're gonna do is instead you're gonna walk up to Hecarim, and this is a mechanic for Morgana. You walk up to him. He's gonna try to juke because he thinks that the binding will come out. Okay. Then you're gonna press R, and then he's slowed. Now he has 2 options. Does he stay in the range of your ult and get stunned, which guarantees that you will not miss this binding after, because he's standing still, and if you miss it, well, that's shame on you. Or does he does he burn something critical like a summoner spell or his ultimate to escape? And in which case, if you use your ultimate and you did the right steps, he's gonna ult this way, and yeah, sure, he'll escape. But if you could predict that he's gonna use his ultimate, you can also toss a binding on him. It's really rare that you'll actually be able to kill him because first of all, he's this close to tower. It's like virtually impossible for you to kill him from 100 to 98, whatever, to 0 with just your Q, W, and R. When you have like what do you have? Here's your items. Oh Jesus. Just the Seeker's Arm Guards. This is very difficult. It's not an easy task. Alright. Now, knowing that that's all mechanic based, just using hard CC to guarantee that you will land another hard CC, or guaranteeing that you'll or using soft CC like Jinx's Zap to guarantee that you'll land the Q, and then you can follow up by the R, or Zap, even better, the Zap R Q combo. This is what people call the obnoxious Morgana combo because it's pretty dumb, you know. Alright, let's continue. Let's get back to it. So he dodges this. She drops Tormented Slow, knocks him back out, ults. Yeah, he has to burn ult, but could have been done cleaner. Zap comes out. Huh. Alright. Now, she sees that 2 pings come out that there's something in the river. So she responds naturally the right way. Walks safely back. Normal route would be people just run down randomly through the river, and that's not the best thing to do when 2 people like that are Mia, especially with hard CC like silences, slows, and knockups, and 2 knockups and a true damage ult. Now, Morgana does definitely need blue. Her blue on Morgana, it just not only does it guarantee that you drop more bindings, but you also push much faster, and you can freely expend more mana. When having blue, yeah, sure, it's great to keep it above 50%, but since you have the extra regen, you can do a little bit more aggressive and maybe keep it about like 40% mana, because you're gonna get it back. Plus you have Flask, but if you want to play it safe, just keep your mana above 50%, and when a gank comes or you need to run away from a gank, you have the other 50% mana to bind the person ganking and black shield all the other CC. So that's the importance of conserving mana, which is not seen very often in the lower elos, because harass is pretty important. Okay, so now she has 2 options. She can come and help Zac, or help Zac and Jinx, which is fine. It's fine. Or you can just continue to pressure mid, because there's a huge creep wave here. Now she's gonna decide to take option B and or to option A and help. So now she throws a binding, she throws a tormented soul. She does have ulti, right? This ulti is not okay. So now that it's up, she doesn't need to ult the Hecarim. Good job. Oh, she ulted the Hecarim, so she didn't need to do that because her team was nearby. Okay, so her team salvaged everything for her. Basically, like this goes back to one of my previous videos. Have faith in your team. If you got people like right next to you that can kill, don't burn such a powerful tool in your arsenal, your kit, just to secure a kill. I mean, Hecarim was basically dead. He had no escapes. He didn't have. Let me back up. Let me just verify. So Hecarim's here. Cho'Gath is low. Cho'Gath is low, but so he has 2 options. He can stay and fight, which when he has no ulti and he has no Q, no nothing. Black Shield just barely ran off. Hecarim is low enough to die. Team is right here. If you look at the map, you can see where your teammates are coming from. This is the importance of people. Like, some people don't look at the map and see how important it is. Please help me, is what they're trying to say. So Hecarim's gonna throw a Q. She's not gonna die because first of all, he entered this bush, so he would have to significantly turn his ass around and jump on you. And even then, that's not gonna kill you. Have faith in your team. You didn't need to ult. Team does relatively enough damage to guarantee that you will survive, because dangerous game and make sure she needs to make sure that her pots are ticking constantly. Spell Vamp also helps too. Okay, call. With her pitiful farm, she can't afford anything except a pair of boots and maybe a Doran's ring. That's what I would have done. Oh, and a ward, of course, because that's exactly that accumulates to exactly 800 gold. But she decides to go for some item that I'm absolutely not even sure of. Maybe a Righteous Glory, maybe a Athene's Unholy Grail, maybe Talisman. Jesus. But she really needs the mobility. Because people will tend to run away from the Morgana ulti to, you know, escape the Soul Shackles' range. So the best thing to do is to get a lot of boots or get some mobility, because then you can stay onto someone. Even if you get a 5-man ulti, not all 5 will, you know, get stunned unless they truly are bad enough to actually stay in the range of the ulti, or you know, they're locked down and they can't do anything about it. But most of the time, people will try to run away from your ulti, so you need some movement speed to stay on them and lock them down. You need to pursue them. Now a gank is coming. She warded pretty finely. Warded at the edge of the bush. It's pretty good. Binding comes off. Black Shield, Tormented Soil. Gank should have happened. But once again, this is where the ulti comes back in. If she actually hard CC'd him, it would have been easier. Okay. One binding. Yep, that's done. That's a kill. Good. Zack's response time was really slow, so that's a problem. But it's no big deal. It's better to wait for your jungler to initiate, because, you know, he just left. Maybe he's like, okay, I want vision, because clearly he was walking towards the crab. I don't know if he was doing it or not, but he was walking towards the crab, and he was like, okay, I might want to get vision, because, you know, vision is important in the game. And tells Morgana, oh, I won't engage yet. But then Morgana says, oh, you're nearby. Let me fight, so you can just jump in, right? Oh. Sometimes it's really good, because once again it goes back to the soft CC theory. If Zack lands his knockup while Cho'Gath is briefly in the air, you have an increased chance of landing your hard CC Morgana binding. Okay, she needs to back right here. There's no point, or she needs to back or try to get back to the lane and just CS, because there's no point in just standing there. Okay, so she flashed, gets the binding, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, once again she's out of mana. She really needs to more well, Chalice would have been a better option here instead of Forbidden Idol. She didn't have enough gold for it because her farm is pitifully low, and this is where the macro game theory comes in. How important it is to CS, because 100 gold can make the difference. Why? Because that was a guaranteed kill. She had the mana regen. Just one or two creep waves more. She's 18 CS down, so that's 3 creep waves, which is basically a minute and a half of not doing anything. A minute and a half of just her standing still and not last hitting. She missed a cannon, it's even bigger. So it's just a mechanical thing. You just have to get practice into it. Morgana's last hit animation may be bad, but the fact that you just have Tormented Soil, it helps you last it, because while the soil ticks are, you know, dropping the minions' HP, you just auto attack and guarantee that they all die. It's the importance of maxing soil and also knowing when to soil. So now there's 3 mid. Yes, you can use your soil. You can push into the lane. This draws a lot of pressure. The red team has to respond. So what do? You have 2 things. Since you're under 50% mana, the best thing to do is just keep using soil, but don't throw out too many bindings, because if they actually manage to like TP and flank from behind and you don't have a position to escape, you're screwed, because you don't have enough mana to Black Shield and defend yourself. Okay, Rupture, easily dodged, very easily. Nope, not a binding time. Tormented Soil, okay, so she only hits 2. Like the front line of minions. She wants to hit all of it, because this lane is going to shove to her place. Okay, no, I don't think that was the best option. She's going to need to do it. Costs 130 mana, Jesus. See what I mean? Like, you can only use Soil so many times, but farm is farm, and, keep your mana pool high, otherwise you're in such a pretty... Because right now, she can't do much if like, Cho'Gath has been frequently backing, probably because he's being wrecked and shit, but he's been frequently backing more, and he has a lot more mana to spare, so he has more options available during fights. She needs to back. She can't do anything. She's useless if she comes. She's useless if she comes. I'm guaranteeing she will not be able to do anything. She's wasting her time. Best option here would have been to just straight up recall and return. But theoretically, let's say she has enough something to do it. She's gonna want to ult the Tristana to guarantee that she doesn't move. You know that Tristana just got a kill, so Tristana has a jump. Okay, so she throws binding, she ults, she has no mana left, and she's gonna die. In no universe was that a smart decision. So now back to itemization. She still is regretting. She's still not choosing to buy boots. She does upgrade her trinket. That's very nice. You don't see many people up there upgrading their trinket. She chooses to take the warding trinket, which is still good. Sweeper is the most chosen on mid laners, but there's nothing wrong with what she chose. This guarantees that she just gets more or she gets more stealth wards placed down on the floor, which it's like a secondary sight stone, except the fact that you don't get the HP from sight stone. These wards aren't replenishable like sight stone are on recall, etc., etc. There's an argument in which why is this trinket not picked over? Why is this trinket not picked over Sightstone? It's because when if you're using it in a team fight, right? You're dropping wards because people like to kite. People need to kite during team fights, and they kite into bushes because either the bushes are warded or they're not. And if they're not warded, then you drop a ward in them. If you have the trinket, yeah, sure, you ward it, but then when team fights are over, you need to place new wards. You need to replenish your wards somehow, and they're all on cooldown because of the trinket. Plus, you're 150 HP weaker. You also get 4 max wards in your inventory. That's just a little tip. So binding, yep. Here, see, that's a perfect example of a soft CC into hard CC, and then Faith in her team. She doesn't need to commit even further to get the kill. She stops. Jinx has it handled. It's done. Simple. Soft CC guaranteed that the hard CC land. It's pretty hard to dodge a flying Morgana binding when you're much slower than you are actually. Your base speed is lowered, so it would be reasonable to get it's reasonable that the thing lands. Exhaust is burn on Thresh. That's smart by him, so good. Now back to this area. Really? Yeah, she just wants to regroup with her team, but she didn't have to walk that way. It'd take longer, sure, but it's safer. She didn't black shield the Zac. I mean, you can use it to okay. This is salvageable by your team. We're gonna break it down after all the action is over. Jesus. Oh my god, lol. Alright. So let's break this down slowly. Luckily I can slow down time. Alright. Black Shield Zac, he's getting hit by all the forms of CC. Even if it's physical damage, every point of defense counts because they might have to commit more resources. Second, binding is fine. But, okay, so when you okay, so binding is fine, she ulted, then she flashed. She could also flash ult because guarantees that she hits more targets. Okay, arrow, now she's in tower range though, and knowing that first tower wasn't down at the time, the alternate option, the safest thing to do would have been to actually just take the tower and go straight down the line instead of walking all the way around. Maybe you couldn't save Zac, but knowing that he was gonna die, you can commit your attention to something else. Jesus, I just love it. Ulting then flashing is different from flashing than ulting, because if you flash ult, you place yourself in a different area so that you may hit more targets. I saw 3 targets there, and she could have hit 3 to pressure them harder, which probably would have in theory given Ashe more damage onto or more another kill, because her W like killed somebody, or her crit or so whatever killed somebody, and she only hit 2 and Lux Flash after that. She barely stayed in range. So it's better to flash ulti in that scenario, and if your team actually had like a defense mechanism, because she's tower diving a 2nd tier full health in her turret with like no mana. So it's already a big risk enough. Now, yeah, Zhonya's Hourglass. This is great, dude. But the thing is, you got boots. I didn't see it. You got boots. That's great. Sork Pen, Ionian boots. Shoot, I can't. Give me a second. Okay, hold on. Why isn't it showing? I can't. Oh, huh. Well, that's a problem. I can't show the character, which you can learn something every day. Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, Thing is, when Morgana goes mid, you want to take 2190 masteries. Okay, so let me see. She's just auto attacking. Why didn't she just walk up and like pressure zone 2 people out? Whatever, doesn't matter. Okay, so let me finish what I was saying, then I'll get back. I'll break down the team fight. So you want as much cooldown on Morgana as possible to constantly throw out bindings, because when binding is maxed, I believe the cooldown is, let me check it just in case I might be wrong. So the binding cooldown's max is 11 seconds. So doing some math, the root duration is 3 seconds. So if you land it 8 seconds afterwards, you will throw another binding, and if you land it there, 3 seconds, and it just keeps going. So we're gonna do some math. 11 seconds with 40% max CDR. That's 1.1 times 4, so it's 4.4. So it's 11 minus 4.4, right? Okay, you're gonna watch an Asian do some math. So it's 6.6, right? 6.6 second cooldown if you have 40% CDR. If you land the binding, they're rooted for 3 seconds. So 6.6 minus 3 is 3.6. That means if you land a binding, 3.6 seconds, basically 4 seconds, right? After, you can throw another one. And it just keeps recycling on and on and on. And you just become the biggest pressure tool. If you miss it, it's fine, because it's still on such a short cooldown. But this is also another thing you have to keep in mind. Your mana pool. Because this thing costs a lot of fucking... This thing isn't free. So if you have a blue buff, abuse the fact that you can throw out more and more bindings. Sure, you want to guarantee that you land it, but just throwing it is still a threat too. You don't have to throw it, and you can throw it. It's just when is the time to throw it, and when is the time just to spam spam it. You know what I mean? Because right here, let's say she had blue and she had 40% CDR. She would not be spamming it here. Why? Because this isn't engaged. We're fighting. Now is the time where, okay, I have to land this because we can get kills and secure objectives. See? She landed it. Now this is a kill. Now it's time to secure an objective. She has her ult up. Okay, knowing this, she actually should have just walked here. Black shield herself. I think she black shielded someone else. Let me backspace. Okay. Okay, land the binding. She W's. Okay, sure. She black shields Thresh. That's actually the wisest. That's a good decision. The thing is, he already casted his Flay, so the Feral Scream would have just silenced him, and nothing would have actually happened. Thresh's box is still existing. Does she have ulti or not? Jesus, Baron replay is so dumb. Anyway, go on. If she had ulti, okay, with cooldown reduction, she probably would have had ulti technically. So this is in hindsight, but if she had cooldown reduction boots instead of this, she would have 5% more CDR, and probably that this 4 seconds would be irrelevant. But she would black shield herself, walk here, so it guarantees that the silence doesn't silence her, and drop a 3-man ulti right here, forcing them to either disengage or disengage or stay locked down and get wrecked. But this is also fine. She ignites Zac so that his healing is ineffective, because Zac always likes to pick up his blobs and start healing. The closer you are, it's easier. The more easier it is to land the binding too, because you don't know when it's gonna come, and you don't know how they're gonna throw it, and it's so close that the hitbox is so wide that it's harder to dodge. In this situation, she'd want to, as a mid laner, she can just keep pressure. As long as she has a ward here, good. This is also good. She can't really get flanked. Lol. Because she'd know when they were coming. Oh, jeez. Black shield yourself so late, too. The reaction. Wow. Pop. Ay. When she got bound, that was a problem. She reacted. She needed to just just press Alt E. Okay, so she chose to go for the damage row, and that's not really the best option on Morgana. She doesn't need to deal Like yeah, her damage is just there, but she's great as a utility. So it's more important to just get more cooldowns because the damage comes from as a team kind of thing. She has soul shackles now. I'm gonna speed this up so that she can get on there. Come on. She needs blue, like really badly. 4 minutes slow. Good. This will guarantee that you clear the wave. You don't even have to fight him. Jesus, her positioning for the tormented soil. She just dragged it. Okay, there it is. Good. See, easy. That's how you CS. She's only 6 down from her lane opponent. That's 1 wave, but she should actually be like 3 to 6, maybe even 10 waves up if she actually lasted perfectly with autos and shit. Morganas can usually accumulate a fast gold lead. Yeah, get the cannon. Good job. Now, the important thing to keep track of is timers. I forgot to mention this, but this is just a general thing. Keep track of opponent's summoner spells. People that are very immobile makes it easier for you as Morgana to perform ganks. So, example, in this game, two characters come into mind: Cho'Gath and Lux. These characters do not have a mobile gap closer or any mobility spell, dash, none of that, in any form that's not flash. So knowing that, if you burn their flash, it means that they have no escape. So if a gank comes off, kaboom, they're screwed. Good, 3-man ulti. Walk forward. You don't need to bind the Zac. He's already dead because you have faith in your team. Good. Good. Zhonya's is fine. Well, now she's out of mana. She needs to pop her flash stacks in the middle of fights. The regen would actually be very beneficial. If she had farmed more, if she had farmed more, she would have enough. She would probably have enough money for an Athene's Unholy Grail, which is really beneficial. Get it? Good. Have faith in your team. You notice that she stopped attacking Zac? That's actually pretty smart. Because Cho'Gath is more important. Knowing that there's no way Zac can escape. And if he somehow like gets over the wall, someone might follow. If not, he lives. Damn. But have some faith in your team. Don't commit too many resources to a kill. Let's just see if Zac could have escaped. I'm gonna go back a lot. Okay, so Morgana Soul Shackle is not there. Okay, it's right here. Let's see if Zac could theoretically escape. He's got 20 seconds on E. He has no flash either. Yeah, it's done. See? Wait, hold on. What did he do? What did he do? Okay, so his E got denied. Ooh, even better, so he has no E. Pop. Oh, so our Zac flashed. Oh, okay, so this guy's Zac flashed onto him. I thought his Zac like flashed further. Oh. Okay. She doesn't have to stay up this. Oh, okay, so now she has blue. This is great. Great for her, especially. So what she should be doing is she should be. Well, you can back to buy, or you can just push mid constantly. But since she's alone and she doesn't have a ward on this side, she can get flanked. So going to another lane, being an asshole and stealing someone else's farm is not the right option. Jinx is more important to protect than Morgana. Morgana just initiates, probably black shields herself, but the rest of the team fight is all in the 80 carries. Really? Again, this is not the time. Okay. Now let's check her gold. She has enough for Athenes. She should get Athenes. Don't throw the binding. W? Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, she shielded Jinx. That's fine. Jinx is untouched this fight. Oh my god, Lux. Good binding. Good. See what Jinx is doing? Boom. Wow. Oh my god, please don't. Again, this comes. She doesn't. This player does not seem to have faith in her team. It's not important that she has to get so many kills. Like she's assisting people in getting kills. Her team it's a team-based game. She doesn't have to. She's so greedy, so desperate for kills. I mean, you can just farm it out. 15, 16, 15 to 20 CS, couple creep waves. It's the same amount as a kill. It's okay to just let your team do the work. I mean, they deal more damage than you. You don't have to flash ulti. You Flash ulti is a huge initiation tool. In a 5v5 skirmish, if you have all the tools ready, flash ulti in the middle of them, drop the Zhonya's down, they're basically like, oh crap, something's about to happen. And then wombo combos come in. Insane. See here, she can disengage. Like these two right here are still fighting. So what she can do is she can just walk up and ult to force them to either commit or disengage. It's one or the other. If they commit, they're gonna get stunned, and then you guys can whoop them like they are now. Or you can have them disengage. In which case, they have to disengage. They go back to base, and you can damage the inhibitor even further. Yeah, sure, it's salvaged now, but like, this is all in theory. It's just not right to flash ulti for a kill if it's that important. It's not that important. Because I'm pretty sure she's gonna recall. Yeah. Let's see what she buys. Okay, so she seems to be opting. It's not Luden's Echo. It might be Morellonomicon. But it's one of the components is a theme. These two components are for Morellonomicon, and the other one is for either Luden's Echo or Deathcap. Either or is fine on Morgana. Doesn't matter. Move speed is actually really. She stood still. You didn't even have to throw the binding. Anyway, move speed is great on Morgana once again because the fact that you're moving faster, which means that it's harder for people to escape your ult because they're slow and you're fast, right? So by process of elimination, it's possible that you can catch people much more efficiently. Reasonable. Alright, Black Shield the Thresh. Good idea, because he's gonna get killed pretty fast. Okay, where's your ulti? There it is. Going. She should probably... Okay, she needs to Zhonya's. Good. At some point she had to Zhonya's. Oh my gosh. Ulti came a little late, but she needs to Zhonya's. Okay. And this is where also if she had flash, she would be able to flash something. Maybe flash further into the team to get more people locked down by the ulti. Flash is pretty important on Morg. And this comes back to also the cooldown boots too. She would be able to spam spells more she would not spam, but utilize more spells. Utilize more spells. Cast. Probably throw out 2 bindings or 2 soils or 2 black shields. Stuff like that. This is what they call dirty farming. It's fine, it's just that if the junglers nearby don't do it because it's an asshole move and they benefit from it more than you would. This is a bold Baron call. Okay. It's a bold Baron call, seriously. It's like one of the worst. It's a throw. Okay, so here. She thought the binding was great. Kaboom, she's screwed. Don't Zhonya's. Ult, then Zhonya. Like, you're not going to be able to live. They're all on you. It's not that you... Because on their side, they're probably thinking, hey, have faith, we can kill her. She's dead. It's awkward. Because when the fact that bottom inhibitor is down draws 1 person down there, but not 2. They didn't need to expend so many resources down at bot lane. Morgana is also good at pushing back because she can just torment. So wow, that's a bold Baron call from these guys, and they're probably gonna get wrecked for it. Going back to the farm theory, she still hasn't accumulated much CS in the past like few minutes. She went from like 99 to like 120, but in like I think the span of 8 minutes or something like that. It's the CS count is actually really awkward. She needs to be farming a lot. Morgana is just a champion that does that. And even if she can't farm, other people should have a CS lead because they should be farming. But in this case, top is only like both sides. It's on both sides, but everyone is ahead in CS except for AD carry and top. But it's really close, so it wouldn't really matter. Kill the crab. You don't need to kill him. He's not gonna be caught that easily, at least. Okay, that's really bad. Well, they had no vision there, so theoretically you need to ward that before you just jump in like a bazooka. Plus, if you knew that he was gonna, if you look at him, he's like, oh, I think it might go in. If you see a Zac elastic slingshotting, drop a black shield on him. Like, actually do it, because when he goes in, he wants that protection. Team fight happens. Arrow lands on Cho'Gath. And slow it down. She flashes in. She ults. She gets 3 people. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. She should zone you so she doesn't get knocked up like that. So she might lose her ulti, but it's too late. She's in the middle of them. Then she Sonya's now because she's in tower range, so she doesn't get targeted by the tower. Someone else might. So now they have to either stay. Now this forces her to either she has to run or she can continue to fight. But if she continues to fight, she might die. And in this case, she did die because her team should have actually moved forward a little bit quicker than that. And this comes into theory with the fact that Thresh chose to build no support item because. Going support and not building a support item is the most logical fucking thing I've ever heard. Talisman of Ascension, Righteous Glory would have been the perfect item to use right there at that particular moment. Simply because, hey, Morgana's in trouble. She's zoning. Look at what they're doing. They're not on us. Their eyes are on her, which means that they haven't used any spells, which means that they're distracted. So, because they're waiting to use their spells on Morgana. Let's attack them while their eyes are on Morgana. Because if their eyes are on Morgana, they're not on us. So unless they have a lot of awareness and they don't need to focus their attention that way. Okay, so she went the Morellonomicon route. Now you have to think to yourself, why would you pick? When is the right time to pick Morellonomicon versus the Athene's Unholy Grail? They both give 20% CDR, they both give AP, and they both give mana regen. The reason why this one is this one costs less, and the reason why you would pick Morellonomicon is to cut healing in half. So. Let's see who on the enemy team has a healing that is supposed to be cut in half. Does it really matter? Zach, yeah, he has healing, but he has to step on his blob, so that kind of like screws over his healing. It's not really that effective. It's there, but he has to be really low for it to be effective. Tristana, she's squishy. She gets low pretty fast. Yeah, so maybe it works for her, but it's only 2 people. Let's consider how many magic damage dealers they have. 1, 2, 3. Lux. A bit of his damage is magic, and she has a lot of magic damage herself. So 5 magic damage dealers. Magic resist? It's not a bad idea. How much base does magic resist should you have? 32? Plus 20 or something like that from Athene's Unholy Grail. That's completely reasonable. At the same time, since this person seems to spam constantly, the best thing to do is to, in a team fight, is to lay down your cooldowns till you have about 40% mana. If you somehow get an assist, 12% of it is restored. So you can get so much mana back during team fights. If you get 3 assists, that's 36% of your mana. You basically go from 40 to 75% easily, or 76%, whatever, 1% difference is easy. It just comes back instantaneously. Now with masteries and runes, by the way, so you go 21-9 and you take the 5% CDR, and okay, you take Ionian boots, and then you take God damn it, really fight right now. Take 5% CDR. Take 5% CDR from your master. Really? She didn't even ult. Oh no, she did. It's just one person. Take 5% CDR, and then you take Athene's and Ionian boots. That's 40%. Or you can take cooldown per level, but that relies on you waiting way more towards the late game. Team salvages this. She only her ulti got 1 person, so it's not as effective. You want to ulti multiple people whenever you can. It's the best thing to do is get multiple people because it forces it puts a team fight more in your favor because more people have to disengage.
Blue team has slain Baron Nashor. Red team's inhibitor has been destroyed.
She walked around mid lane. She should kind of like establish where she should be going, what waves are pushing. The team's doing Baron. She should realize, hey, I get a Baron buff. Which lane needs to be pressured? Well, mid and top seem to have no inhibitors. Let me just go bottom. So she could have made it there sooner and pushed even further to draw even more pressure onto the enemy team, if instead of just going mid randomly. Item choice. She got death cap. That's fine. I think Void Staff or Abyssal Scepter would have been better. In terms of the we're going back to the magic thing once again. Basically, Abyssal Scepter is not only does she get flat magic resist, that's a huge defense, but she also gets AP. Yeah, okay. But the fact that because she gets the aura that lowers people's magic resist by 20. That's like free magic pen. That oh my God, Lord have mercy on my soul, Jesus Christ Almighty. Again, hard CC, soft CC, flash, just absolute fail. Anyway. with the aura the aura reducing 20 magic resist. That's basically a Sork Pen boots, but a little bit better. Same time, if she ults multiple people, she's standing in the middle of them, or she's standing close to them. So that means that not only will she deal more damage, but her team will deal more damage during a team fight. In terms of magic damage, not physical damage. Her team's about to end it. This is GG. Should be in hindsight. Nice lantern actually. Or somehow he escaped. Whatever. Probably a last sleep shot. Whoa. I'm not paying attention to Morgana because she's not really. She should have just gone over here, taken turret, just end the damn game. But she decides to go for greed because, you know, padding KDAs is what people in lower elos like to do. Play Call of Duty. KDA is very important. The game's over. So once again, there's not much I can see because when I'm replaying this, an issue that comes up is her ulti up? Is her ulti not up? Is flash up? Is flash not up? Is Zonya still down? Is Zonya not still down? Why didn't she do it? Because I'm backspacing. I'm checking a lot of data, and that being the issue, I can't see everything. So this was my coaching for Morgana to the best of my ability. Please follow me on Twitter at LOLVeggie, and I will be continuing to do probably more of this in the future. Thanks for watching, and take care.